Friends, welcome to the Singularity. I am Danny. Let's get weird. Friends, today I want to talk to you. I want to tell you a story, okay? I want to talk to you about a concept. The story is going to be called Broken Clocks. Broken clocks. All right, so let's dig in. What do I mean by broken clocks? What is this going to be about? This is going to be about health. How do we connect to the universe, friends? Everything is about timing. And I'm going to show you how it's about timing. Remember, the real you, is eternal awareness. You create everything with your mind, friends. Okay? Out of the darkness, out of the void, comes a thought. That thought defines your space. This is going to be the physical you. You're probably asking, what does this have to do with timing, Danny? Good question. Let's tell the story now of how this eternal is always going to be there. Let's tell the story on the physical you. How can you bridge these two to thrive? Remember, this you can never be hurt. Right? As a soul, as a spirit, you can never be hurt. Your body, your physical body on this plane, on this earth can. And it's temporary, friends. It's temporary. But how can you help yourself thrive? And how does time fit in to this equation? We're going to start here. This is Patrick. We're going to name it Patrick. This is the story. Not Patrick Starfish. Patrick Star. Okay? And what is this? We're going to call this Sandy Bottom. I told you this is a story. I'm trying to make this fun. Okay? All right. And this is you. This is you. So you live between the source of energy. Think of this as the sun. Patrick is the sun. And the earth, which is the physical. Okay? And then you have this space in between. Now, you're going on about your life, and your life is dictated from the day you're born to the day you pass away by something called entropy. Entropy exists in the universe, in everything. You can see it outside in a plant. It grows. And it dies, it decays. A tree will grow and then eventually decay. All living tissues, all living beings do this. They experience entropy. Even buildings, right? If you build a building and you don't keep fixing it up, it's going to decay. A bridge will rust. It will eventually decay. This is entropy. This is a loss of energy. That is the definition of entropy. It is the gradual loss of energy. Now, think of like a star. Stars do this as well. They'll lose energy over billions of years or however long it takes. and then they explode into a supernova and create planets and whatever else. So it's a cycle. Just because the star is dying doesn't mean it ended, right? It's recycled, just like you. Okay? So loss of energy, entropy. Now, we're talking about time here. How does time fit in to entropy? Well, because the more you go on about your life, remember, folks, you're losing to entropy. You're losing energy, right? Your body can't contain the energy as efficiently, so you start to lose energy and you decay. Okay? So how do you? This is the story though. How do you slow down the decay? How do you slow down the entropy? How do you live life in a low entropy way? Because there's two things you could do. You could live life in a high entropy way, or you could live it in a moderate way, in a controlled way, in a natural way. Or you could live in an accelerated way, right? So, one thing we have to realize is that our connection here, pen problem, change it up. Our connection here with the source of our energy, the star, is key. And it's all about timing, friends. This is called circadian rhythm. This circadian rhythm, okay, is dictated by light days and dark nights. Light days, dark nights. What does that mean? It means you're getting the correct daylight, sunlight, the full spectrum sunlight during the day, and you're getting dark nights. Okay? This is what sets your circadian rhythm. This is what sets all of your hormones and creates all of the other other hormones that run the clocks and the biological functions in your body. Okay? So what the sunlight does is in the sunrise, okay? This sets the clocks. Okay? And this is where timing comes in. The sunrise in your eyes sets the clock in your brain, called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. SEN for short. SCN for short. Suprachiasmatic nucleus. It sets this clock. What does this clock do, friends? It sends a signal to the rest of the tissues and the cells in your body and sets their clocks. Meaning that when you sync this clock together with the universe, it knows where you are in space and time. It knows where you are on the earth, on sandy bottom, in relation to the star, the sun. Okay? This concept is crucial to understand, friends. Okay? So once you are connected in a way that the universe understands where you are in space and time, then it understands how to send signals to the rest of your body and to your organs and to your cells and to your pituitary and to any other thing that creates hormones and balances dopamine and all this stuff, is and serotonin, your gut clocks. All of this is run on timing, friends. Timing. And so it knows when to release cortisol in the morning. It knows when to release testosterone. It knows when to release progesterone. It knows when to release melatonin. Right? You're not just taking a guess out here, friends. We're part of nature. And you have to be aligned with it, or your clocks will just be off, right? And we all know what happens whenever that happens. So this is a way that you connect yourself, okay, to the universe. Now, the sunrise sets the clocks, and then you stay out during the full spectrum sunlight. Full spectrum sunlight. All right? And this is where you build the melanin that's in your skin. The melanin that's on the inside of your body. Okay, friends? The melanin that's in the leptin melanocortin pathway in your brain. This is crucial. This is what protects you from UV, but also acts as a battery. Okay? It stores energy, stores light energy, and disperses it to the rest of your body. This is crucial, and it's timing. Full spectrum sunlight during the day. All right? Now, the night. You have sleep. Okay, at night. Why is it crucial that you have dark nights, friends? Good question. It's crucial because of the timing, the mechanism, the melatonin. It needs to onset. Because at night, what actually happens when you go to sleep is you dump the entropy of the day. This is what rest is. This is what sleep is. It's a moment for your body to dump the entropy of the day, to reset itself, okay? To reset the timing, to reset the clocks, okay? And then this starts all over again in the sunrise. Every morning you reset the clock. But you only reset the clock every morning if you're getting a signal, friends. The signal from the source. This starts the timing over again every single day. This is why it's super important to catch the sunrise. Because then your clocks are synchronized for the day again. Which keeps your hormones in check. Keeps your bodily functions in check. Keeps your mental health in check. Okay? You go to sleep, you dump the entropy, it starts all over again the next day. And now you're living a life of what I would say regular entropy. You're going to experience time correctly. Now, what happens when you introduce something between you and the source, friends? Think about life right now. Sunglasses. Mornings where you don't see the sun. You're sitting in an office all day. You're wearing sun lotion. There's a whole lot of things that tell you that the sun's bad for you. But in reality, what's bad for us is our environment, our lifestyle, our culture. Because what they've done is put a blockade between you and the source. Unknowings of it to you, but what happens here? Okay? What happens whenever they do this? Well, I don't know if you know this, friends, but this is the periodic table. All of the elements. We are but a reflection of the source, friends. And we are able to create all of the elements we need in our body. Okay? Just like stars. Stars create their own energy. Okay? How do we do that? Well, we do it whenever we're in coherence with our star. It's all about coherence. Coherence. Okay? So how do we make these elements? Well, you have to understand a little bit about what drives the food web. What drives everything that happens on this earth, friends. Light, the star, is fundamental to this. How is food wrapped up in this? They'll tell you that food is everything, but it's not. Because I'll tell you why. It's tied to light. How do you even create food? Photosynthesis, friends. Photosynthesis. Okay? Think about when you grow something in your backyard, in your garden. You know, all fruit and vegetables and all the stuff that you grow is stored light energy. And then you're taking the light energy and introducing it into your body. But whenever you grow it at the latitude you live, it has the same wavelengths of light in it. It's congruent with you because you are actually supposed to be out there as well. So that there's a connection made between you, the star, and your food. So you have this connection, and you also have this connection through your food. Now, what happens if you get away from this? The further you get away from photosynthesis, the further you get away from the source. You see this? So think about ultra-processed foods. Think about all of our food that we're consuming these days out there. How far away is it from photosynthesis? Ask yourself this question right now. Is there light in your food? If you're going by like some stuff out the store, you know, a Hungry Man, and you look at the ingredients, all of this man-made stuff, a TV dinner, I was saying, or chips, or candy bars, you know, how close is it to photosynthesis? You know, you're either eating stuff that you grew, or someone you know grew, or you're eating a cow that ate the grass, right? That's tied to photosynthesis. Or you're eating a chicken, or you're eating something else. But how close is it to photosynthesis will determine how close it is to the signal itself. Okay? Now, what happens when you start to break this down? So say you have sunscreen, sunblock, sunglasses, you're wearing long sleeve shirts, you're not ever in the sun, you don't, you know, you get up for work, you go straight to work, you're sitting in the office all day, you're under LED lights all day, you're not getting full spectrum sunlight, right? You're not setting this clock, your timing's off, and then you're eating trash food that is the furthest away from photosynthesis. You're creating a block here. Okay? This is the block. You're creating this block. My pins are running out, so I'm going to be going back and forth between them. You're creating a block here, friends. And just to go back to what we were talking about earlier on the periodic table, you're able to create all of these elements. So what happens whenever you put in this block? Whenever you're not in coherence with the signal and the source? Well, you're going to have to rely on the synthetic periodic table. What is the synthetic periodic table? Good question. Well, this is pharma. Supplements. Wearable tech that they all want you to wear. Why do you think they want you here? Why do you think they want to put something in between you and the signal? Friends, if you are dependent on pharma, supplements, and wearable tech that's coming with AI and everything, then you are compliant with this world. That is your new God. That is your new source. This becomes your source. Friends, You disconnect from nature, you're going to have to find another new source. This is how you end up in the sausage grinder that is the medical industrial complex. Now, how does that look whenever you're going across your life? Entropy. Well, the more you go along without this source, just think of this as like a string tied to you, holding you up. Okay? Zipped up. Right here. Zipped up. You're walking through life and everything is nice and firm and tight. You're coherent. Okay? Every once in a while, something might come off. Maybe a shirt or something. Little by little, that's entropy. Maybe lose a little hair or something. But if you keep this process up where you are beholden to this new God, this new world, this new source, and you're not coherent with photosynthesis, you're furthest away from the truth, from the source, from the signal. Your clocks are off. Now what happens? What situation do you run into? Well, you run into medical problems. Mental problems. And this all goes back to this. Once you get into the system, friends, it's your new God. It's your new source. I want you to understand this. It's very important. All of these things start to arise because they were systematically put there for you to be captured by this construct. Your entropy starts to go faster and faster and faster. Okay? You're starting to decohere. And what starts to happen? Time. My pen. Excuse me. What happens? I'm almost done now. Time for you starts to dilate. It speeds up. When you start to decohere from nature, year after year after year, you're not getting good sleep. You're not dumping entropy at night. You're not resetting the clocks. Your clocks are all off. Your clocks are off in your organs, in your cells. They're going haywire. You're on medications. Your new God is here, the source, the pharma, the big pharma, the supplements, the wearable tech that they're going to talk you into wearing. Your medical problems are getting worse and worse because your time is dilating. You're meant to live to probably 90, 100 in a coherent state. But your time's going to dilate, and guess what? Instead of your time being here, this is you going along about your life. Your time's here. The time's going to dilate, and you're going to be 40, 50 with a 90-year-old body. Because the time is shortening. Because the entropy is accelerating. Which ultimately leads you to Sandy Bottom. Now, we're all going to get there. Eventually. But the speed that you do it, and the life you're able to live and thrive in, is all dependent on you, friends. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to ask the questions? In the end, we're all going to be there. That's true. That's a true statement. But you're eternal, friends. This is temporary. But even in a temporary world, you can make good decisions. You can make smart decisions. You can make decisions out of wisdom. What do you do with this information once you know it? Do you believe me? You don't have to. What you can do is do your own research. Okay? Don't believe me. Just do your own research. Okay? I'm 44. I'm on no medication. I think pretty clearly these days. I'm trying to help you. I just want you to see it. I just want you to get the signal. Because we create the signal. And then we stay in coherence with the signal. But if you allow someone to put something between you and the signal, then that becomes your new God, friends. And then you'll fall victim to their reality. Because you have no choice. You gave the choice away. So I just want you to take this information and just sit on it. Think about it. Is your clock broken? Do you feel like your clock's broken? Is your timing accelerating? Because you are the only one that can make the decision to turn back the time. Stay feeling thoughtful.